Hey guys, great to have you back on the show. I'm Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. In this segment of Disrespected, I'm taking a look at NBA players that I feel were disrespected at some point of the career or don't get the credit that they deserve in NBA history. And with Dominique Wilkins, I feel you can say both. That guy was disrespected in his career and also doesn't get the respect that he actually deserves, which is why this video is going to be all about the human highlight film. But before we start with this video, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you always get notified once I upload a new video. And I would say, let's start right away.
Taping this on a Tuesday afternoon, West Coast time. I am slowly ripping through the greatest 50 players of all time. You were not on that list, Dominique Wilkins. It's one of the all-time injustices in dumb list history.
And at the time, when I retired, I was 7th all-time leading scorer in history.
Right.
And, I really appreciate something that Danny Ainge said. He said, Dominique, he's not one of the 50 greatest. In my opinion, he's one of the top 25. Bird and Magic coming to my fence on and says, how is this guy not a 50 greatest? So to me, that's more validation than I need.
I want to start this video by taking a look at the career of Dominique Wilkins and not only see how good he actually was, but also see that this guy was probably one of the most iconic players of his era. So let's have a look. Jacques Dominique Wilkins was born on the 12th of January in 1960, not in the US, but in Paris, France. His father was stationed there at the military before his family moved back to the US. Dominique didn't play organized basketball as a kid before he met a playground legend from the neighborhood that inspired Dominique to work hard and to really play. And once he got to college, he was known as the human highlight film.
When you say Georgia, you got to say Dominique.
He put the Georgia program on the map in the midst of a football crazy era.
I wanted to go to a school where I build my own name, and by going to Georgia, there was no one to compare it to.
Some schools were saying, well, you can come here and you'll be another this person. And we were saying, if you come to Georgia, you can be Dominique.
It was important because I wanted to help build a program. And by going there, we had a chance to build something. And we did.
We didn't have too much, but we did have the dunks. But everybody knew what Dominique's dunks were going to be.
There with the pass to Wilkins. And another monstrous dunk from Dominique!
He's the only individual I knew who can do some of the dunks that he was doing. I'll tell you that.
Dominique's dunks are strong, they're powerful, and they are amazing. Simply amazing. When he said human highlight film, that was the perfect name for Dominique.
In the 1982 NBA draft, Dominique was drafted by the Utah Jazz 3rd overall before he then was shifted to the Atlanta Hawks. Dominique became an NBA superstar and was mentioned in the same breath as Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and other elite megastars. Dominique Wilkins was sensational. He instantly was the new face of the Atlanta Hawks, who suddenly mattered in the Eastern Conference, a loaded Eastern Conference. And of course, Dominique's dunks was what got the people into the arena, but Dominique had a lot more to offer than just dunks. He went at every NBA superstar head to head, and that's also what got him the respect of many NBA legends.
Shake his hand. I'm a rookie. I'm playing against the Boston Celtics in the Boston Garden. And go shake. And Larry put both hands behind his back. He wouldn't shake my hand. I said, okay, he's just getting into the game. First play of the game, he said, you don't even belong in the league, Holmes. And he shoots a 3. Now, I wasn't mad that he made the 3. But I said, did this some bitch this called me Holmes? and he came down and did it again, so I'm pissed, So the next time down, see me on the breakneck pitch, and I jump up and I throw it down on him. I mean, he fouls me. And he said, hey, Rook, I like you. You got hot. He said, but I'm still getting 30 on your ass. I mean, that's who he was. But that was the only time he ever talked trash to me, because he respected me because he knew that I was going to keep coming.
With his team, the Atlanta Hawks, Dominique never competed for an NBA championship, but it never was Dominique's fault. His team was simply not good enough in the strong Eastern Conference. But individually, Dominique was off the chain. I mean, let's take a look at his stats. That guy was always averaging between 25 and 30 points per game, which put him in the category of the elite scorers of the game, but he was also a very good rebounder for his position, a small forward averaging between 7 and 8 rebounds a season. That is very good. He always shot a high percentage from the field for a small forward. So as an individual basketball player, there's nothing you can say against his productivity. Then after the 1991 season, Dominique got injured. And this is actually a part where Dominique proved what a great and sensational basketball player he was.
I can go all out now.
You know, the thing is, you feel great when you come back. But it's not until you get into competition where you get your first bump. I remember getting hit in the air, and I came down and immediately grabbed my leg. I like, wait a minute, there's no pain. It was all in my head. But once I got over that, I said, you know what, I'm going full tilt. And whatever happens, happens, but I'm going to go out on my own terms. So I had to totally block it out of my mind. And once I blocked it out, it was old vintage Dominique. I mean, I came back playing the game on the ground as well as in the air, came more fundamentally sound. So I had that explosiveness and the basketball skill to go with that.
Check out these numbers right here. Pre-injury, at the age of 32, he had played 810 games, over 30,000 minutes, with an average of 26.2. Well, how about the return from Achilles season? 29.9. How do you go up almost 4 ppg after the Achilles injury?
I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you the truth. You know, really, I wanted to prove all the doubters wrong, because when I tore my Achilles tendon at 32, I got these sarcastic pats on the back. Oh, okay, Nick, we hope you come back, you know, and I knew that they thought my career was over. But I worked twice a day, every day for 9 months. I mean, I worked harder than anybody could work.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the court and welcome the 50 greatest NBA players of all time.
I can really remember this All-Star game. I mean, I was still a young boy, but I remember I was thinking like, hey, the 50 greatest, okay, Dominique Wilkins is definitely going to be on this list. And I was so shocked. Like, literally, I remember I was upset when I found out that Dominique was not on the list. To me, it felt like they wanted to punish Dominique for something that I didn't know of. I mean, that guy was an all-star, all-NBA, scoring champion, slam dunk champion. That guy was one of the most entertaining guys the NBA has ever seen. So to me, there was no reason why he shouldn't be on that list. If it was because he didn't win a championship, sorry, but so didn't Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, John Stockton, and so on. So you can't punish the guy for that. Sorry, but that guy belonged on that list. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that way. As in most of my videos, I like to end the video with NBA legends talking about the guy that we feature in the video, just to also get some insights from players that actually played against the guy. So let's have a look.
We represent Dominique Wilkins. I just want a little summary about how you feel about him as a basketball player.
Well, Dominique was phenomenal as a basketball player. I mean, even as a young player, you know, he was a take charge player, had the type of approach and attitude and style that I really like to watch.
Dominique Wilkins getting a statue.
Wow.
What?
Ernie, I just got to say this. When I was a little kid, I was driving around on my big wheel, and then this guy they called him a human highlight film. Some of the dunks and plays he made.
So you're not older than him.
I'm telling you.
He's not older than you.
I was a little kid.
No. You're older than him.
Yeah, you're older than him, big dummy.
I'm telling you.
You weren't on your big wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
I was on my big wheel.
Okay, pause the video. So you're all wrong. Charles is not older than Dominique. Dominique's actually older by 3 years. But Charles also wasn't on his big wheel, I can guarantee you that. So just wanted to mention that.
Even say anybody shouldn't be on the list. But when I had a right to say who maybe should be added to the list, but
who were you surprised wasn't on there? I mean, Dominique Wilkins. That was the first name that I thought when I looked at that list. Said, boy, Neek's not on the top.
That was
human highlight reel.
That was the first guy.
For me
I
too.
Thought, because when you think of certain players, when you think of certain franchises, you think of certain players. And when you say Atlanta Hawks, he's the only guy you think of. There's no one else that you can say, well, I think of this guy when I think of the Hawks. No, you think of Dominique Wilkins.
All right, you guys, that's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. Peace. I'm out. Hey you guys, if you're active on Facebook, I can really recommend Open Court. As an NBA fan, you should find everything you need. If it's funny NBA videos, impressive highlights, or even NBA news, I check out Open Court every day.